This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus and episode 14 of The Walking Dead. God damn it. Glad I'm caught up. Wow. So it's very few times that this show can kind of throw a serious swerve towards me. Here's the thing, having read the comic books, and I think it's like this with a lot of media, that if there's something else that had preceded it that it's based off of, when some certain big moments happen, you're kind of prepared for it, simply because it's something that you've already experienced. You experience just in another way. Just like with this, having experienced certain moments that they've done in the TV show, in the comic books, it was more of just getting the visual representation of it. You know what I mean? It's just like getting the visual representation of, say, what's a good moment to draw up, because they change things. I will give them that. They do a pretty good job of changing things up, switching moments up. But like, first being introduced to a character like Abraham, you remember when you first saw him in the comic book, the experience with, even though it was changed up some, the cannibals, things like that. It's just certain things that you can identify, and the biggest thing is, it's just like, wow, they did a good job of doing that. You know what I mean? That being said, like I said before, this show switches up things enough to where you probably should get more of a surprise, but I don't. It's just more of a, I recognize that moment, and so I get it. But this episode, they kind of threw in a moment that I wasn't expecting to happen in a totally different space, to a totally different person, which again, that's fine. But the scene, and then to draw back on something that happened earlier and identify a character, kind of like threw me for a loop a bit. So they caught me slightly off guard, I should say. Not like, it's not a big thing, but I have to say bravo. When things went down, I was just like, interesting. Anyway, let's get to the heart of this. So, basically, this episode, you saw like everybody doing their like daily routine. Everything seems to be settling into a routine in the area. And you get the story of, what's her name? Denise, who is the, medical student girl who is basically playing town doctor and everything like that. She decides she wants to go out and try to find some medicine because she found an apothecary. So she asked Daryl and Rosita to come help her. She reveals later why she asked them, but they agree to go with her, help her get some medicines and things like that people can use and all that. A side story is, you see Eugene going out with Abraham, and this is one of those moments, like, again, happened in the comic book, that I wasn't surprised at, but it was cool to see go down, which is, you got to see Eugene come up with the idea of making bullets. That was something that was very, very pivotal in the comic series. And when that happened, I was like, yes, they get into that point, because they're gearing up to what I'm really getting excited for. So that was cool. It was cool to see the interaction between Eugene and Abraham, though. how Eugene basically told him, look, I'm not the same Eugene anymore. I'm, becoming a better person, being able to handle myself and all that shit. So yeah, don't sleep on me and all that. It was funny seeing him trying to handle the zombie, but I mean he was trying, and I think that's what this episode was more about. Was like people trying, adapting, becoming better, and just the evolution stage, I guess, of what's going on. And I think that's what Denise was trying to express to Daryl and Rosita when they went out. They were like, we're going to protect you, blah, blah, blah. You're not ready for this. You shouldn't be going out here. And she had her moment when she ran into that room with the zombie with the cast, and she noticed there was a baby drowned in the pool or whatever it was, or at least maybe the baby was eaten by the zombie. Who knows? But that freaked her out. But then they're walking to the tracks. And if it seems like I'm skipping a lot of this episode, it really wasn't a lot. More like conversations. It was an episode that kind of compacted itself to big moments. But the big moments, in the big conversations had impact. Such as, when they're coming back from getting the medicine after that experience with the zombie and all that, and she sees like a car with the cooler. She's like, hey, there might be something in there, and they're like, it's not worth the risk and all of that. And she decides to go in there and try to get it from a zombie. The zombie, it comes at her. She's struggling with it. She's like, no, let me do this. She kills the zombie, and then they're all mad at her. They're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you do that? And especially when they find out that the cooler had soda, which, if you remember a few episodes before, the soda was pivotal to her because she was supposed to give the soda to her girlfriend. And Daryl was just like going nuts, like, yo, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? And she's like, yo, I'm taking chances. It's like, I've been trained, but I have to take chances. You can't just keep, not trying to live, basically. You have to take your chances. You have to, do what you have to do. She's like, I made a mistake and didn't, take a chance and let, what's her name know how I feel. And now, like, that's probably gone. Although I don't remember that. I honestly don't remember them breaking up or any dumb shit like that. I feel like there's a write-off of a character that abruptly happened that I don't recall. Please let me know if you remember a conversation between that girl and, the Brofist girl. Because I 100% totally don't remember that shit. Like, not at all. Anyway. And she's giving them a speech. She's like, reason you want to know why I asked you guys to come? She was like, you remind me of my brother who was very, very brave, who, he made me feel safe, and that's why I wanted you to come, because and she told Rosita, it's because now you're alone, and you don't have to be alone. You're probably alone for the first time, but you're stronger than you think you are. You need to know that, and you both need to know that, like what you are, who you are, and basically you need to start going out there taking life and living. And as she's giving this huge rant, arrow comes through her eye. Like, what the fuck? Like, who? Huh? What in the... Yeah, arrow comes through her eye. I wasn't expecting that, so that kind of made me like, whoa. That was the thing that caught me up, because it was a moment that happened, but it happened to a different character. Spoiler alert for those who may not have read the comic book. It happened to Abraham, and he was giving a speech about something else in Alexandria. It was entirely different. It was an entirely different moment. Like, the way that it went down was just like totally, totally different. But then you see all of a sudden these people rush out the woods. They tell Daryl and Rosita to drop their weapons, and you notice it's that dude that Daryl ran into before who stole his bike. if you recall last episode, Daryl got his bike back. The guy who took his bike is back, and he's got Daryl's crossbow and all that, and you come to find out like he's back in the fold of Negan. And then the thing that really, really surprised me was you found out that this is Dwight, who ends up playing a really, really pivotal role. So it's crazy. It's really, really crazy that this is all of that bring. It's like that's Dwight. Dwight has a big deal in this situation. This is going to be interesting to see how they break this down, and if they're going to stay the path with that character now, or how they're going to change it up. It just kind of, that whole part threw me for a loop. But long story short, Abraham shows up, and through some ingenuity by Eugene, who was captured by them, by the way, I failed to mention that they had found Eugene, because after the moment with Eugene and Abraham left Eugene to his own devices after basically Abraham just told him, yo, step off, you asshole. Eugene gets very ingenuous. What's the word? He uses his ingenuity. So as they're having a conversation with Dwight, Eugene makes mention that he noticed Abraham was hiding behind barrels, which that was true. Abraham was creeping up on the scene to see if he could help him. So he was like, if you're going to kill anybody, you need to kill that asshole behind the barrels, because he deserves it and shit like that. And so Dwight's like, oh, really? Somebody's over there? Go check that out. And while Dwight's distracted, Eugene bites his dick. And it was the funniest thing, because he was gnawing on that shit for a minute to distract him. And that was a good enough distraction, because it gave Abraham a chance to take out a couple of people and start chaos. Daryl and Rosita were able to get their guns, take out a few, and then there was enough noise to draw enough walkers to make it so that Dwight and his people had to disperse and get the fuck out of there. But you left with Denise dead. Eugene took a bullet, but he ended up surviving. And they get away. But you get to the end, and it gets kind of peculiar, because you get a note from Carol to that dude, and that dude in the town that she was talking to, and she says like, I'm going, nobody don't come after me, I can't love anybody because I can't kill for them anymore, which I found peculiar. It's like, okay, so she takes her lack of wanting to murder as a sign that she can't properly love people. What the fuck? So maybe I'm back on the, Carol needs to go some goddamn where bandwagon, because to me that made no sense. It's like, I understand, like, you don't want to kill. That doesn't mean that you can't kill if somebody threatens who you love, because we saw that when that lady came at Maggie and swiped the knife, she walked up to her and put a bullet in her head, because she wasn't going to let her kill Maggie. I think she is kind of missing the point that, kind of what Morgan's trying to make, is that you have a choice. You don't have to that doesn't have to be your first thing. You should at least try to preserve life. And then, with the modifications of what Morgan was saying, when all else fails, you do what you have to do if there's no other way. That's the thing. And I think that's the thing she is not being able to understand, come to grips with, like, it's not that you kill, it's that you just are kind of just like no fucks about it. And I don't know. So I know about Carol. Do you want me not to just want you to live or something? I don't know, but that was precarious. So now you're gonna have the group go after her and all of that. She's gonna probably call somebody their life and shit. Like, seriously, Carol, what are you doing? But it's very interesting. Oh, by the way, Abraham finally made his move and like forcefully stepped up to Sasha, and Sasha invited him. So good for you. You got you some Sasha Poontang. Abraham, that chick's Yeah, too nuts. Too nuts. Anyway, anyway, interesting episode. Can't wait for the last two to see how they're gonna like shape the. We need Negan. We need to really get our introduction into Negan. Now we know about his group. We know about how they are. We need to know Negan. They need to show us more. Show us Negan and introduce you guys to what I know about Negan. Yeah, definitely. But anyway, as always, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.